Hey there folks, how are you? It's another video dispatch here from the Palm Springs International Short Fest and Film Market. And I apologize if in any way I appear disgruntled and or short-tempered in this short video dispatch. Obviously Palm Springs is closer to the sun than the rest of the planet. Basically the entire town is a giant sweat lodge. So you get all the benefits of the sweat lodge in terms of the heat. I'm not too sure about the spiritual healing. Also, this is a shout out to Professor Dr. Gareth Higgins, who of course is the executive director of the Wild Goose Festival, which is happening right now in North Carolina, and so he's probably in a sweat lodge. It's one of those kind of places. He's probably in a sweat lodge with Michelle Schacht right now. So, Professor, this is for you. Okay. Here's my little tips today. Went to a they do things in themes here, right? They package the films in themes. I went to one today called Middle Eastern Magic, which I had some concerns about, because right away you've got the Orientalism, right? You've got the idea, and they even use the word exotic in the description. So one cannot help but think about how the Middle East has been exoticized, you know, it's the other and all that, and I think of Edward Said's Orientalism, if that's how you pronounce it. Is it Said? I don't know. As a kid, when I was reading Orientalism, I pronounced it Said. Right? It's like when you play, you know, Monopoly as a child, you don't know any better, you call it Monopoly. So it's one of those deals. So I was concerned about this idea of the exotic, but you know, you can't help but think of the power of film in its ability to portray the other as yourself, and you could make the argument that even by recording, the sprinklers might activate at any second, because again, it is a desert community, so the important thing is to spew out as much water into the air in mist form as possible. But the power of cinema to depict the other is astonishing, as oneself, right? So I would argue that even by showing the other, if you showed the other, you know, having a meal, that in itself could be a radical act to show that, you know, we have the shared common humanity. So with that in mind, there's some real powerful films in the Middle Eastern Magic section of the festival. We had a little montage of clips taken over 2 days to Tahrir Square in Egypt, and of course you can't help but be proud of humanity and feel proud to be alive when you see that footage. Here's some other stuff that I'd recommend. I know it's hard to see short films, but dear viewer, keep an eye out if you can for these. Give me 1 second here as I page to my notes here in the comprehensive and very well slickly produced catalog. Okay, here we go. Mideastern Magic. So, Bahaya, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Mahmoud, I've already talked about, though you would not have seen it. I interviewed the director of that, Zaid Abu Hamdan, and that'll be on an upcoming podcast. Bahaya Mahmoud, that's going to be it's a portmanteau film, actually. It's going to be part of a film called Love Older, in which Mr. Abu Hamdan is right now assembling in Los Angeles. Keep an eye out for that. Love Older, Bahaya Mahmoud is one of the parts of it. It's a love story, as it were, of an older couple. It's pretty good. Thief. Now, Thief is the story of the young and old Saddam Hussein, should I say, and someone he interacts with. And you know, always when you go to these festivals, you want to see something new and fresh. And for me, whenever you see a film that's like told conventionally, using conventional film grammar, then you almost downgrade it, because I'm kind of an asshole that way. Like, well, this could be on TV. But Thief uses conventional film grammar, but it's a pretty good picture. The story not about revenge, but about responsibility and what it is to be a human being. What are our responsibilities to each other? You know, we have to help each other out in this tiny planet. And how do we deal with the fact that even though we try to treat others like ourselves, that's not always reciprocated. So Thief, keep an eye out for that. Martyr Friday, by the way, is the name of the Tahrir Square one. Let's see what else we got. Tasnim, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Tasnim, Tasnim. Palestinian girl tries to bring coffee to her father in basically a forbidden tent, since she's not an adult and she's female. Very, very strong, beautiful imagery, Tasnim. And a special word out for The Wind is Blowing on My Street. The Wind is Blowing on My Street. Of course, I always have a soft spot for any Persian/Iranian cinema, as a young Iranian girl when I was young. It was the first girl that ever captured my heart. I mean, I was only 5 years old. She lived next door to me in Oakland. I won't tell that story now, but I always have a soft spot, of course, for Persian/Iranian cinema. But The Wind is Blowing on My Street. Google that and see if maybe it's going to be streaming somewhere on YouTube or Vimeo or something. The Wind is Blowing on My Street. It's just great, and I won't say anything more about that other other than, again, we're all in it together. How do we deal with connections between ourselves, and how do we deal with those that would keep us apart and keep us separate for political reasons, right? Divide and conquer. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to go see some more pictures this evening, and then off to one of those, film festival parties. I'll do my best to be cheery. Again, I'm sorry if I seem a little disgruntled. It's not just because we are obviously hurtling towards the sun. I mean, hopefully NASA is going to do something, like send Bruce Willis up there to blow some shit up so we don't explode. But also, I don't recommend when coming to Palm Springs that the first thing you do is have half a pound of meat and a hamburger and rush it. Hamburger Mary's, I'm sure it's a great place, but that was a mistake. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk soon.